Sure, something's wrong with the piping again. I can't get the heating up on the lava.
How much is on the floor?
Oh, shit, I forgot to turn off the faucet. Give me a moment. It's overflowing with lava!
You're a dragon, you're fine. Brew, on the other hand,
What's going on?
don't come in the kitchen.
Well, I usually don't. What happened?
Eyafrim left the faucet on.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just be out here, not dealing with that level of bullshit.
Can you pull someone in while I deal with this?
Well, that's the thing. We've got like 1, 5, about 6 portals that just popped up in the area. We might just have someone walk in.
Do we have more fire extinguishers?
No, you used the last one last week.
Well, get someone who can turn off fires.
What am I doing? Oh, there's magma everywhere.
Yes, it's starting to leak into the
Wait, Ashura and Eyafrim, right? I remember meeting you two before. And
Hey, Nimue.
acquaintances of yours?
yeah, it's good to meet. Are you a Feywild plant person?
Yes, I'm a Cephalotus Fey. Yes. Did you come through one of those portals?
Yeah, I believe so. It kind of just popped out of nowhere. I was on the back of my polar bear and I kind of just fell in.
Whoever's making these pop up, I really need to have a talk with them.
I don't remember the polar.
Could I ask you for a favor, Nimue?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, most of our kitchen is currently on fire. Do you think you could solve that for us?
Oh, yeah. I'll just create some water and you might have to get a shovel afterwards. There's going to probably be some hardened magma that you'll have to break up.
That's fine. The cobbles I used today.
Well, I mean, Jeremy did just him a bullet. Maybe it can dig through. What's that, Jeremy? What do you mean it had popped? Well, it looks like we're going to have a few bullets running around. But, yes. Who are you again?
Oh, right. Well, my name is Nimue Deltasong. I'm a water genasi. It's a pleasure to meet you. And you are?
I am Maru, one of the Delegation of Dreamers. When exactly did you meet those two?
We were at a tavern.
Oh, okay.
There was a dragonborn that licked the tavern and claimed ownership. There was this orc wearing a polar bear that kind of made me uncomfortable, not gonna lie. And there was this one girl who talked about stealing Ashura's behind.
I heard about that one, the first one you mentioned, the one who licked the tavern. The other one I didn't remember, but I might have also put that out of my mind. It was unfortunate I couldn't make it that time. But, well, it's a pleasure to have you. Would you like any refreshments? I'm sure we can get something from the not kitchen area.
If you have any tea, that would be good.
Ah, yes.
He always has tea somewhere.
Well, Jeremy's a step ahead of us on that. He's asking if you would like any cakes or cookies, or possibly even a baguette, whatever that is.
I don't know what a baguette is, but some cookies would be nice.
How does Jeremy know what baguette is?
Well, he just said that he found some recipe from somewhere that looked very old, so maybe it's just a very old recipe for whatever it is, long forgotten.
Oh, yes. I'll have a scorched baguette and some burning cookies. Thanks.
No, he has his own separate kitchen after the last incident that you started in that one.
Does this happen often with magma just coming and destroying kitchens?
Not usually the kitchen.
No, it happens a lot with Eyafrim.
Yes. Eyafrim somehow manages to find a way to often ruin the plumbing.
Seems kind of unorthodox to have magma going through plumbing, but...
Yes, well, dragons need their magma baths every so often.
Oh, I figured he was a poison dragon.
Yes, many people make that mistake. Different realms have different typings for the dragons. There was one realm where a green dragon was, in fact, a dragon of frost. And then the blue one was the nature dragon.
Interesting.
Hey, that's actually one of the sayings I learned about. Never judge a dragon by the color of their scales.
That is definitely a good one, and something I learned on my travels through the realm. Many a burnt behind for dealing with a dragon I thought was not fiery, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Jeremy has run off to get the cookies. It might take a minute. It's on the other side of the, very close to the mines, halfway between here and there, which is one of the reasons that Eyafrim is not allowed to go there, because it's one of the more safe locations for them to have their stuff. No magma allowed in there, Eyafrim.
Yeah, I fought kobolds before. They don't take kindly to being burned.
Yes. That and all the equipment we've got them recently that could possibly explode if it caught fire.
Nimue, judging you from your skin or scales, you're a water genasi, right?
Yeah, I'm a water genasi. I'm pretty handy when it comes to water and snow and ice. At least that's what my friends tell me when I don't get them wet.
No, brain, no.
Oh, my apologies.
Nothing to worry about. I'm simply joking. But thank the realms you're good with that. You really helped us out with the kitchen.
Oh yeah, it looks like the fires have gone down. Thank goodness there wasn't more.
Yeah, thank goodness.
What else did you do, Eyafrim?
What? No, I didn't do anything.
What other faucets have you left on?
I'll be back in a moment.
There were more faucets?
So anyway, how did you get so good at water spells? Well, I understand you're a water genasi, but it still takes some training.
Oh, well, I've been learning since I was a little girl. My mother is what you call a Marid. She is a genie of water, and she also happens to be queen of the water plane. So I think on a genetic level, I've got abilities from her. I also grew up in a temple to Eldath, the goddess of peace in my realm, and she's also known as the mother of the waters. So I think my clerical studies definitely helped my attunement with nature and stuff like that. I think I see a light from where Eyafrim's coming from.
Alright, we're gonna hold off on that.
Everything is fine in here. Don't go in here, though.
Is that magma genasi I hear?
Oh, be careful with fire genasi. I've met one before. They can be hot-headed, full of themselves.
Hot-headed.
I mean, I can't call her a friend. She really annoys me. But she's a wizard, so she has some speciality in fire spells. I met her when I was traveling around, trying to find any genasi. I met two earth genasi that literally had rocks for brains, and some air genasi who had his head in the clouds.
God, the puns.
I mean, they just come naturally to me, I suppose.
So you're traveling around to find other genasi?
Yes. So I was left on the temple doorsteps when I was a baby, and for a long time I wanted to know where and who I came from. So I was about 18, so about 10 years ago. I went to travel around, study things about the different planes, such as the elemental planes. I know a little bit about the Feywild, which is why I could recognize that Rue was from the Feywild. Some other planes like that. And then it wasn't until recently that I met this elven fellow named Leopold, who ended up pulling me towards a lot of shenanigans.
Hey, we met an elven fellow named Leopold.
Did he have a sword and a prideful attitude?
In all honesty, a lot of adventurers have that.
A lot of elves have that.
You're not wrong. Did he wear a hat with a feather?
Yeah, I think he was wearing green.
Yeah. Well, I'm not quite sure how this realm works. I guess he could have ended up here. I mean, he's dead in my world.
Oh,
Oh my.
He died in a fight with this ice goddess we've been having some troubles with named Oro the Frost Maiden. Is he okay?
I mean, he's dead, but apart from that, he's okay.
We spoke with him. He went back to his realm.
Huh.
But last we spoke to him, he was fine.
I guess he got better.
Indeed.
How did you meet Leopold?
So there was this job posting about this necromancer that was causing trouble. He wanted to make a skeleton army made of newts. We're not sure about that. He seemed to be pretty much a rookie. I was looking for any kind of coin I could get, and he was probably the first person that approached me in a long time asking for me to help him out with this. So I tagged along, and, well, there was a lot of chasing in a mansion. We kept running through doors that led to other doors that it just didn't make any sense. There was this whole hallway. We went in like the far right door, and then we were in like the far left door. It was weird. But we ended up killing him, and then Leopold was like, "Oh, you should go with me and travel around, explore." And I was like, "Okay." He seemed to need some protecting, otherwise he was gonna get himself hurt, which, to be fair, he has done a lot even with me around. One time, after we arrived in the place I'm at currently, known as Icewind Dale, during the night he decided to go after an escaped convict, running on the roofs, and ended up capturing him somehow, even though this convict seemed to be much stronger than him. But according to Leopold, the convict fell off a few roofs.
Did he survive?
That night, he died the next day when we got into a fight with the Frost Maiden, and she killed like 40 people, turning them all into ice sculptures.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been kind of a mess since we've gotten there. We met with a silver dragonborn named Scoff and a shifter. And his name was Frost when I met him. He now goes by Cinder. We met them, and apparently she had wiped out Cinder's full tribe because they wouldn't work with her. So she's been trying to kill them ever since. And Leopold and I got kind of caught in the middle of it, at least as far as we thought at the time. Apparently, she is holding my mother hostage right now and was the reason why my father died. So I kind of have some reasons to stick around and try to take her out.
How's that going?
It has its ups and downs. She's used a spell called Awaken on a bunch of animals and used them as spies. And we met one of them who was actually really friendly. He's a giant polar bear, and I ended up calling him Cola.
Why am I not surprised?
The name just kind of came to me, honestly. It just seemed like a good fit. And he's been traveling with us ever since. Recently, we had dealings with a mind flayer, this weird pink squid-headed man with tentacles.
Oh, I've ran into those before. Not really ones for conversation.
I don't know. I've had a conversation with a mind flayer or two. Sure, they were trapped in gems because of being incarcerated for horrible crimes against humanity and such, but they can be quite the conversationalist if they so wish.
This one definitely liked to talk. He called himself the Doctor. So, more recently, after Leopold died fighting the Frost Maiden, we met with this who we thought was a dwarf, but he was apparently a reborn, an artificer by trade, and apparently he had been brought back to life by this Mind Flayer after the Mind Flayer killed him, and he wanted to basically take over Ferret's body. So we ended up killing him, but not without him taking over some of our minds for a temporary bit of time. But he's dead, and Ferret decided to stay behind, and then we more recently met this turtle named Sherry Frostpond, who apparently is a warlock whose patron is my mother. I've never met a turtle before, so it's already kind of weird enough, but apparently she was supposed to be my guardian and was the one that delivered me to the temple I grew up at.
do you remember your mother?
Sherry recently showed me what she looked like when I was younger, but I don't have any memories of back then. I don't even know what my father looks like either. Apparently he was a human, but I don't know anything about them. Besides that my mom is a queen, and apparently I'm this princess somehow.
Well, I guess we gotta call you Your Highness from now on.
Oh, you don't have to. Nimue's okay. Although, kind of ironic, a princess in a room with a couple of dragons.
I get it.
There's not a tower in here, is there?
I don't think so, unless... Well, sure... Were you going to go through with that construction project you were mumbling about the other day?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
I see. Well, currently I don't think there's a tower here.
Not good.
It looks like Jeremy has come back with not only some cookies, but also a small army of goblins with shiny loot.
Goblins? I've never met a Oh, well, I've met a few goblins.
Oh. Eyafrim, it seems that the goblins have come to bring you a gift because they're afraid for their lives. What did you do to them?
Oh, I didn't do anything.
Are you forming another cult?
I got some good news and bad news. The good news is that the fires in the sleeping quarters has been dealt with. The bad news is that the fires are spreading.
Sure, may I put him in the eternal prison for a while?
I'm not the one spreading the fires. It's spreading by itself.
You started the fire. Yes. But at least make sure he can still talk. We still have a guest.
Yes. It's just a little magical prison. Just means he won't be able to go anywhere for a while.
This is so unfair.
Well, if you would stop setting fires, and also stop eating random people just for no good reason when you have food.
I'm eating people for good reasons, and I'm not the one setting the fires. It's the lava.
I mean,
You can take your trinkets and your treasures back. We'll get your living quarters fixed, and I'm sure the fires will be out shortly. Jeremy said he's got someone on it.
if it's lava, he didn't really start the fire. You could honestly say it's always been burning.
Yeah.
Well, the one who caused the lava to be there is to blame, and I'm pretty sure we know who that is.
That's fair.
But, yes. Well, here is some cookies.
Oh, thank you.
It looks like he brought you a little snack pack of them too.
Oh, thank
Good
you.
to take with you. Hopefully those survive the portals. That can always be a tricky one.
I can definitely understand that. I've heard stories about people being flung into portals. How exactly did you all end up here?
Well, I don't quite remember how Ashura said Eyafrim got here, but I believe Ashura's been here since time immemorial, making him quite the old fart, and I decided to planeswalk here. Not an easy feat for most, but I was bored and wanted something to do, and it's much more fun to have people to talk to.
Call me an old fart, but I come with wisdom and experience.
I'm sure, except with the ladies.
I'll throw you into that prison too.
You don't know that spell. It hasn't been forgotten yet.
Rue, I don't know. That is a dragon, though. I think fire might be an issue for you. You might want to watch out.
I can usually deal with it. I can use most any magics. Forgotten magics are a bit more difficult, but...
Well, you might be able to deal with it. The question is, can your sleeping quarters deal with being flooded with magma?
I mean, I can probably do something about that, but I have a feeling that now I have 2 against 1 rather than just the chaotic green to deal with.
Anyway, back to our guest. Nimue, how do you feel about your party? Like, do you have any favorites or non-favorites in the party?
Well, considering I'm currently dating our barbarian Scoff, I have to say he's my favorite. Cinder is definitely interesting. He talks in the third person quite a bit and doesn't really understand common turns of phrase.
Stupid.
You're one.
Eyafrim.
Like, we tell him that things kind of go over his head, and he's like, nothing can go over Cinder's head. Cinder would catch it.
Oh, I know that type.
Oh, does Eyafrim do the same thing?
Eyafrim is quite oblivious to turns of phrase and the like.
Our old Artificer Therit was interesting. He, for fun, decided to kill a man by putting his head inside a crystal just to see what would happen.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, no, it was terrifying. I was not really a big fan of his that night. Sherry has been nice. We haven't known her for very long. And Leopold, as much heckling as I give him, I do miss him. He was a true friend.
May that journey with you are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, besides Cola, we've encountered a bunch of other talking animals, such as Scoff made friends with this talking reindeer named Prince. We have a couple Axebeaks. They don't talk, surprisingly. And then we most recently met this talking rabbit that was experimented on by the Mind Flayer and is now a rogue somehow and can use psychic blades.
Excuse?
Yeah, we don't understand how that happened, but his name is Eduardo, according to Thera.
Is it weird that one of your party members, Sherry, is worshipping your mother?
A little. I will say when I found out about the princess thing, it was kind of weird. Before I went to Icewind Dale, people didn't really want to be around me because, oh, there's this blue lady. People don't really always like things that they don't understand, unfortunately. But I've come to really have a good friendship with the party I'm currently with. It would be in better circumstances if an ice goddess wasn't trying to kill us constantly, but eh, families are the ones you make along the way, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've always found that family made is always better than family given.
I mean, it looks like you three have made a pretty strong family here, too.
Don't you go putting words in my mouth.
The other people I saw at that tavern all seem to be kind of part of your family, too.
It is kind of dangerous to try to put things in a dragon's mouth.
Again, Eyafrim and
They
turns
close
of
so
phrases.
quickly. You gotta watch out with your fingers. But how did you come to date Scoff?
Well, according to Cinder, he's always been a bit of a flirt. Admittedly, I was kind of interested in him from the get-go. I've been told recently that I might have a thing for Dragonborn. I don't know what they're talking about, but he was just really kind and honestly a bit protective, but brave and does what he can to help others in need and cares a lot about animals. So we talked about it for some time. We definitely had some lapses in understanding with each other for a bit, but it was probably just the same night that Leopold died that we decided to become a couple. So we actually never even got to tell him because he was off on his own. And in the battle when it happened, he had apparently gone off on his own after we had dealt with this battle where Scoff had his mind taken over by the maiden to basically try to kill all of us as well as his tribe. We ended up being able to restrain him, and he was able to fight the maiden off within his mind, but Leopold decided to go off and talk with his Moonblade for a bit, and he was jumped by the maiden. Apparently it was enough, like he was able to take her down a peg, but not without being frozen to death as well.
Don't you know you never split the party?
Yeah, we kept telling him that, but that was like the third time he had gone off on his own. And you can only do so much to keep somebody who has the thrill of adventure from seeking it, even if it's not exactly the smartest thing to do. That's a lot of fire back there.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I would help, but I'm currently not able to move.
You're not allowed out.
Is that molten chocolate too?
Oh, god, you got into that too.
No, the second kitchen.
Well, I'll go deal with this. Can you tell us one of your favorite moments? Oh, god, why is there chocolate syrup everywhere?
Oh, wow. Well, honestly, one of my favorite moments. We were traveling in this cave dealing with some kobolds that were stealing things from a town. Leopold got jumped by one of them, and he ended up getting grappled by the kobold.
Oh. How did the kobold manage to grapple him?
Honestly, we don't know. He kind of just came out of nowhere, and Leopold was like, "Oh, I've got my sword. You can't stop me." And then he kind of jumped on his face and knocked him over.
Hmm.
It was really, really funny.
Oh god, it's so sticky!
I can't put out molten chocolate, I don't think. I can put out fire, but
Where's the milk? We're making chocolate milk tonight.
Looks like somebody also used the last of the milk while they were making a mess of the kitchen.
uh-oh.
Alright, I'm back. It's somehow mostly been bottled. God, I need a shower.
Yeah, you look very sticky.
Well, there's a problem with the piping, though.
Oh no, what else is...
No, that's what I'm trying to say. There's a problem with the lava pipes. They're not hot enough.
Eyafrim.
You gotta like run it for a long time before they. Oh yeah, I see. I see where I went wrong.
Yeah, were you showering in the magma?
No, I started running the faucet at like full blast, and I think I forgot about it. I was gonna take a shower, but I was waiting for the lava to heat up.
Well, I guess it could have been worse. It could have been more than just magma and chocolate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the only time he's had something like that.
See, Nimue gets it.
Time. You're on timeout.
We're going to keep you there until the next person comes around. Yes.
So this Frost Maiden, would you say that she's your nemesis?
I guess I would. I mean, she's holding my mother hostage. She's tried to kill multiple people that I love. She killed my dad. She killed Leopold. Yeah. Honestly, she needs to die.
How many times have you fought the Frost Maiden?
We fought her once in a town called Bryn Shander. That was when she killed about 40 people. We fought her again when she took over Scoff's mind. Leopold fought her, and then most recently she found this crystal called Chardolin, and she calls herself the Black Maiden now, which is a very odd name. And we ended up having to run from that because she could basically absorb spells and send them back at us. And also raise the dead. She turned a kobold into a zombie. Oh no, wait, it was a goblin she turned into a zombie, but she probably could turn a kobold into a zombie too. We met these goblins who are artificers, and they had a house that was just this big mimic, and she ended up killing one of them, but then turning that goblin into a zombie.
Oh.
Yep, so we have to burn any bodies that we encounter. Luckily, we had burned Leopold's body before, but she had been using animals that she had awakened, like Cola and Scoff's deer prince, basically to use as spies, but she killed a bunch of them recently, and now there's only a few left. We think she might be losing mental stability with her power increase.
Oh, is it because of the Chardolin?
We think so. The Mind Flayer said that she gained her power at a price, and so we're thinking she might not be all there anymore, and she might be becoming more desperate in her wish to basically... She wants to use my mother's ability to cast the wish spell to create her full deity form on the material plane, which in my studies at the temple, it's not a good thing.
What could happen?
I've heard stories of people being turned to ash just from looking at gods straight on in their full form. I have a feeling she would basically freeze everything, make everything cold. So basically the opposite of the magma pipes, the polar opposite. Forgive me for the pun.
Oh, because the poles are cold. Okay.
Yep, there you go. I can definitely see what you guys meant about turns of phrases.
Yep. So you've met gods, you met Genasi. What haven't you met?
That's a good question. We met a sapphire dragon recently that had been trapped in a bunch of sapphire by Cinder's tribe years ago, but she was trapped not on purpose. Well, they did it on purpose, but she was actually a good dragon. I haven't personally met, I guess, an evil dragon. I mean, I've only met good dragons. I'm sure there's other things I haven't met, and honestly, I'm a little afraid to not meet them. I do want to meet a griffin, though, because griffins are incredible. I love griffins.
Big and fluffy.
They're so fluffy. I want to ride one so bad.
They do love pet behind the ears.
Really?
Some of them do. If you see that they have very dark coloration on the top of the head, be careful. Those ones are usually not too pleasant. I believe they're a special breed, but are they forgotten yet, or...
I don't remember.
Hey.
Yes.
Well, I haven't met anything like Rue before. I only know from my studies of the Feywild, but you're the first I've met of you.
Yes. My species is in a few realms, but not many. Oh, also, be careful of, what are they called? Hippogriff?
Oh, I've heard of those. They're like griffins, but with horses and eagles instead of lions and eagles?
Yes, I believe that would be an accurate assessment. The last one I met tried to bite my arm whenever I tried to give it a treat.
Ooh,
You should also be careful of hippopotamuses.
Oh yes, no matter what realm you go to, those are dangerous creatures.
what is a hippopotamus? That sounds terrifying.
It's a mythical creature, pretty much a blend between a horse and a pig, and they live in water.
That's terrifying.
Ashura, do you think that he's actually been trying to read? Because that sounds like he's trying to describe something that was in the book we gave him.
I think he might have just looked at the pictures.
Possibly.
Do you not like to read, Eyafrim?
I do. I don't know where Ashura Andrew is getting all of these serious lies.
You tore pages out of the book that we gave you on figures of speech.
Mm-hmm.
I have the proof right here.
There were no figures in it. The title was a mislead.
No, it literally had the term written and spoken phrases of speech.
It looks like he ate a few pages.
Yes, I was wondering about that, but he denied that, said one of the kobolds did it, which I could kind of see. Bertram is known for eating things he shouldn't.
So, where's your party currently?
We're in a town called Targos that Scoff's dad took over. He is a dragonborn, a red dragonborn. Scoff is silver, but his dad named Razor took over the town after there was this evil spy network called the Zentarum that had taken over that town, and he stole this cauldron we had found called the Cauldron of Plenty. It basically, you pour water into it and it creates soup. We had found it with a hag that was basically cooking body parts and tried to get us to eat some. Took over my mind for a bit because apparently she had gained magical power from my mother, but she couldn't hurt me. So when she did, she lost all her magic power.
The girl who lived.
Well, I definitely was not there to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, now that you all mention it, I have met quite a bit. I will say, in my readings of the Feywild, there were these things called dolphin delighters that I don't think I want to meet. They're like these pink fish things that hit you with headbutts of mind force and blind you, and they can teleport and they can heal themselves. It just sounds kind of terrifying.
But how do they taste? That's what I want to know.
I mean, you look like you could eat a few.
Probably a bit rubbery.
I mean, if they're anything like whales, yeah, a lot of blubber. I've never met a dolphin. At least not any that blind you when they headbutt you. Although, funny enough, there have been a bunch of fish that they call knucklehead trout up here that basically, if you get your head too close to the water, they try to knock some sense into you. Literally. Like, one almost took off my head, but they taste really good.
I'm not surprised by that. How did you meet Cola, by the way?
Well, we were traveling to this town called East Haven where we ended up meeting the hag, and he just came up to us saying, "There's trouble up ahead." And we met him again when we were leaving that town, and he seemed really nice, so we were just like, "Hey, you want to come with us?" And now he carries me on his back everywhere. Apparently, the magic that gave him the ability to speak and think like a human made him much bigger than usual. He's probably double the size of a normal polar bear.
Quite large.
I've heard the term huge. He's not quite gargantuan, but pretty close. Honestly, I'm surprised you guys are not a lot bigger than you are. I've heard stories about dragons that could basically just take a bite out of a continent.
I mean, it's also a bit more difficult to interview people when you're that size.
You know, that's fair. That's very fair.
Some people don't even know that they're living on top of a dragon when they're that big.
I hope, well,
You could be living on a dragon.
that is, that's,
Prove that you're not living on a dragon.
I don't think I can. Honestly, now you've got me worried. I'm going to be watching where I step and making sure that I don't accidentally activate some magma pipes, if there are any in my world.
I wish you luck with that.
If you all ever come to visit, hopefully you won't find any.
I mean, hopefully Eyafrim won't find any.
That's true.
We'll make sure to keep a tight rein on where he goes. But, I just got someone on their way to fix the piping here, so I do believe our time is short. We will see you another time, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
And until then, have a good awakening.